Hello, everyone. Welcome to Ivy Tiger Talks. My name is Brody.
I'm Sahara, and today we're joined by me and Brody's dance teacher, Miss Abby Kasper.
Hey guys.
Howdy.
Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Yes, Abby's been always telling us at dance class, I listened to your podcast.
I do. I've listened to everyone. I love them.
A fan.
You guys are
True
doing
fan.
awesome with this. It's super cool.
Thanks. So, I think we should probably start off. How long have you been in dance? How did you get involved with dance in general?
Okay, so my dance experience has been not only just starting dance classes when I was like 2 years old, but I was raised in the studio. My mom is the studio owner, Leanne Kronbaugh. And so, yeah, dance has just been part of all of our family's lives forever. I mean, we didn't know anything other than growing up in the studio and dancing. So, yeah, I just kind of fell in love with it at a young age, and so did my brother and sister, and we all just kind of grew up there, and that was just kind of what it was.
So you grew up dancing with your mom as your teacher, and now you're a teacher.
I did, yes. My mom was my teacher. My sister taught me some, and then, yeah, I started teaching, or assisting, I should say, when I was like in junior high school. I kind of started assisting a few classes, and then I went to college, and I was really big into sports as well. So I played volleyball my first year of college at Kirkwood, and then I started dancing on the dance team there at Kirkwood, and then kind of came back and started teaching a little bit more at the studio. I got my physical therapy assistant degree through Kirkwood, so I did that and taught for several years, for about 15 years, and then this year I started full-time at the studio.
Full-time
So,
dance teacher.
I love it. I'm super excited. It kind of is one of those things where life puts you where you have to be, and it kind of works out for you. So
You spend a lot of time at the studio. I mean, every week,
I
like
do.
Monday through Thursday, right? And then also Sunday
Yeah.
with lADC class.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, and teaching dance isn't just about being in the classes and like, the 3:30 to 9 o'clock at night or whatever. But all the time that we put into it outside of those classes too,
Yeah.
and preparing and planning and, costume planning and recital planning and competition planning and all that. So it's definitely it's a lot of work, but I think it's something that I'm really passionate about. So I think that's why it doesn't feel like work to me all the time. Like
Yeah. You never work a day if you're doing what you love.
Exactly. That's totally true. I love that statement because it is that way. And I think that it's, if you can really find something that you're passionate about and love to do, then it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah.
And some things do, but,
Yeah.
that's life.
Yeah.
So,
I feel like dance here, everyone's always asking us what we're up to. We have the boys join us for
yes.
Partner
our-
dance, baby.
Yeah,
I love
partner
it.
dance. Like the traditions that we have.
Yeah.
So fun.
Yeah, the partner dance, let's talk about that.
Definitely.
It is so much fun. And I can't remember when we started this several years ago. I think the girls were like, we should do a partner dance and bring the football boys in to dance with us. And I was like, that sounds awesome. So I was like, okay, everybody find your own partner. You find somebody to dance with and bring them in and we'll do it. And since then, it kind of just has stuck and it's super fun. So this year, I'm really excited because Brody's been dancing with us for several years.
my third
I was
year,
going
I
to say
think.
3 years.
Yep.
And some of the senior girls have been wanting to do like a production style number, which means basically a production style is you have a certain amount of people in the routine and it's a little bit longer of a routine. It's like 5 to 6 minutes rather than like the 2 to 3 minute normal dance routine. So this group of seniors that we have right now with Carly, Emma, Aubrey, and Megan, they were kind of my first class that I started teaching when they were like little itty bitty. So your group does kind of hold a special place in my heart. And I think that is, so I wanted to do this for you guys as well, to try to make this a little bit bigger of a number. So yeah, it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a little crazy. I know in one of your podcasts, Brody talked about the costume changes. And he's like, I don't know how this is all going to happen, but
I'm a little skeptical, but I believe it's going to work.
yeah, I mean, I tell the girls all the time, you have to trust the process. You got to trust the process.
It's not panic mode yet.
It's not panic mode yet. I say that all the time, right, Sarah? But yeah, it just, I know it's going to work out. And I don't know how these crazy ideas get stuck in my head, but things just kind of start rolling, and then they all seem to work out. And my mom and I have this joke that recital week and competition is always like an organized chaos situation.
It is.
Like, it is chaotic because there's so many people running back and forth.
So many things happening at once.
So many things happening at once. And I mean, why not throw 3 costume changes in a dance?
Yeah.
I mean, what?
Yeah, why not?
Why not
do that?
Why not?
You know,
Or
just add a little
crazy
more.
tricks.
Yeah, I mean, the tricks are super fun,
Yeah.
and the boys are so awesome to like. I mean, yeah, it's just funny because the last several years of the groups of boys have been like, you know, I'm asking Brody to do a human helicopter, and
Yeah.
it's like, you know, I don't understand. Like, you guys are just like, okay, we'll try it, Miss Abby. Let's do it and
I
see
think
what
they're
happens.
fun. They're fun. That's why. Like
Yeah.
the tricks.
Yeah. Because
To
then
be honest,
everyone.
I never thought I'd be able to do that. And I tried it. Like, oh, that's kind of fun.
It
Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
yeah, and you like, and I see things on different, you know, videos or, you know, get inspired by things, and I'm like, we could totally do that. Like,
Yeah.
let me transform that into something that we could do, and so I think it's pretty cool. So
Every time I learn a trick, you say, now you just have to trust. Like, just do it.
yeah,
Like, yeah.
yeah, and I think that's a big part of it. I think trust
Yeah.
is a huge part of dance
Yeah.
and any sport really, because if you don't try it, and if
Yeah.
you don't, you know, you know, trust your body and trust your mind to focus in and do it, then, you know, it may not work. But, and if it doesn't work, that happens too. Sometimes it doesn't work. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's all a matter of trusting the process, giving it a try.
Yeah, I guess giving new things a try, we can probably talk about this past November, our lADC team went
Yes.
and danced in New York. That was definitely something new for all of us.
It was so new and it was so cool. Gosh, I don't even know where to start with that, Sarah. Where do we start?
How did we get to the point where we're going to dance in New York?
Okay, that's a great place to start. So, every 4 years, when we started lADC, our dance company, so our company girls, where it's an audition process, and you have to take, you know, regular classes in the studio, but then you also have these extra classes and extra time that you're committed to being part of our company, which is our competition group. Our plan was for not only to be a performing company and a competition company, but to also like make sure that we provide some type of an experience for the girls or the dancers to do as a group. So we decided that every 4 years that we would try to do something that would be really special that would hit every person in the group. So when my sister was in dance in high school, my mom took a group of girls to dance in the halftime show at the Citrus Bowl in Florida. So we were kind of familiar with that, and we knew kind of how it worked. And it was a tour, so everything was like planned out for you. We went to Disney World and Universal Studios. And then, so we did that 1 year. We did that, it would have been 4 years ago. So we took a group of girls to the Citrus Bowl again. And then this past time, that was kind of our plan moving forward, was we were going to continue with that tradition. And then with everything that happened with the pandemic and, you know, all of that, then the Citrus Bowl halftime show kind of just kind of discontinued. So it just didn't continue going on. So then we weren't in panic mode yet, but we were like, okay, this is a huge bummer for these girls. We want something to give to them to do, and we thought maybe we could, you know, take them to a show in Chicago as a group, and that might be kind of fun. But we just wanted a little bit more. So we reached out to a couple of friends that we have in Los Angeles and New York that are dance teachers that we go to conventions with over the summer, and our friend from New York was like, you guys should check out the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. And we were like, oh my gosh, that would be like so awesome. So we did, we looked into it, and we looked into a couple other things. Like I think we looked into Six Flags and then something at the Mall of America, I think, something that was a little more in the Midwest. And we called a meeting with the senior group, and we were like, okay, guys, here's the situation. Here are 3 options. And of course, we saved New York for the last, like, to present to them, because we were like, please, we really want to do the New York thing.
Of course.
So, but New York City that's a huge thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's a huge, huge thing.
Yeah.
So we presented it all, and any of them would have been really fun. But I've never been to New York, and my mom had been there a couple of times. And so when we said, okay, and the last option could be New York City, and all of the girls' faces were just like
New York City.
I think Emma started crying
Probably.
maybe, and just was like,
I do not remember why, but I couldn't be at that meeting. Was it like, did you call it like an hour, like right before?
It might have been like kind of a last minute thing.
Because I was at a friend's house, like out of town, and and we were like,
didn't we FaceTime you though?
so we were
that's
there.
what I thought.
And I wouldn't have gone to a friend's house over like a dance meeting.
Yeah.
There must have been like a reason that I was already there or something. And my sister, I was like, oh, I wonder what that was about. Really didn't think anything of it, because we usually have like meetings about like random stuff.
Yes.
And my sister FaceTimed me, and she was like, you will not believe what this is about. And I was like, she's like, you might want to leave the room for this. And I was like, oh gosh. So like I like walked away from everybody else, because she knew I was gonna freak out. And like she told me, and I was like, oh my god, like New York, like the halftime of the Citrus Bowl would have been fun. And and of course Iowa played in the Citrus Bowl.
Yeah,
but
I know.
New York, like come on.
Yes, I know.
That's just a whole different experience.
And it was, it was kind of like a time crunch thing, because we were kind of like, okay, we've got to make some decisions now on what we're doing, because it is an audition process as well to get into the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade as a performer. So then I shot the girls dancing in class. They did a little interview to kind of, say who they were, where they're from. And then I sent that in, and I, reached out, and I was like, I know this is kind of last minute, but we've got these dancers that really want to do this. And so then we got accepted, and that is kind of how it worked. And
so it was through Spirit of America, which is like a company for dancers.
Exactly. Dance. Yep. It was through Spirit of America Productions, and they put on the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade performance, the dance performance, and cheer performance every year. So, yeah.
So also while we were there, not only did we get to dance like almost all day every day, but we also got to do other things.
We did.
We went to the Statue of Liberty. We went to a Broadway show.
We did. Yes. I mean, you girls put in so many hours of rehearsal
and
we practice.
Did. One day there was 8 hours of dance, and that was just crazy. But that was the day we went to the Broadway show. So we had like 4 hours of rehearsal in the morning, Broadway show, and then 4 hours at night.
Yeah. And, it was, we had a great group of moms that went with us too. And, we always felt kind of bad, because like the girls were in rehearsal, but then we and the moms got to go out and do some sightseeing. And, no, that was super cool though too, because it was fun to just have some mom time as well.
Yeah.
Because we don't get that a lot either. But that was super fun. But gosh, just all the things we got to see. It's such a well-run tour and trip. And I mean, I just can't wait to go back. And some of the girls are like, we want to be chaperones next time. And I'm like, heck yes, let's do that.
That would
like,
be so fun.
Yeah.
Obviously the experience as a dancer is different than a teacher or a mom, but like so much dance, and even like the rehearsals, like I remember thinking like, oh, I want to go to Central Park right now. But also like the rehearsals were fun too. Like the people that we were around, like we made a lot of friends there. Yeah. Because there was a lot of dancers.
Yeah, because I think you danced with like, how many dancers
like
were
700
there? I was going to say 700, I think.
And there was like maybe 300 or 400 cheerleaders.
Yeah. So, and they were from all around, and that was super cool too. And I think we even met a couple kids on the plane flying there.
We did. I remember that.
Yeah. And
because all of us we all got like matching sweatshirts and stuff that the company sent us, and we were at the airport. There was people there with the same sweatshirts. And we're like, oh my gosh, you guys are doing the same thing.
Yep. And that was cool too, because we got to see them throughout the week, and they were there alone. They didn't have any parents with them or anything.
That would be scary.
I know. I was like, that's brave, guys. But again, Spirit of America, they have chaperones like to the core.
Yeah, we got like split into groups of maybe like 20, and we all got our chaperones. And our group, we loved our chaperone. We still we all follow her on social media and have her on Snapchat and stuff.
Yeah. So I felt so safe. And like when you guys were with what was her name? Shayna. Yes, I wanted to say Shayna. she, I had total trust in her that she was keeping track of everybody, and nobody got lost, and it was great.
When she was younger, she did this, and she also goes to NYU, New York University, so she knows her way around.
Right.
She knows what's going on.
Right. And actually, New York is not that hard to get around in. I mean, Liz is like the subway queen.
Yes,
she like knew which trains to get on and which direction we were going, and I was like, thank goodness for you, Liz.
Sometimes it was confusing because it was like uptown or downtown. It was like, which side do you get on? And there's like different colors.
Yes, but it really is.
But after a week, it was like
I mean, if we were to go back, I would be like, well, I would know exactly how to get everywhere. So, and I'm sure there's so many things that we didn't see. I mean, we packed so much into a week, but there was a lot that we didn't see. But.
So Thanksgiving morning, what were you feeling that we're about to perform?
Well, so us moms got up super early that morning to go down and save a spot for the parade. I don't know, so many feelings. I mean, first of all, just I was so humbled and proud of all you guys. I think that is like, I'm a true believer of it takes a village, and just all the work that we put into it, like we as a group. And I mean, the amount of fundraising that we did and the outreach that we did, and just a matter to get there was amazing. And then to like see you guys in your costumes that morning, and I was like, oh my God, this is actually happening. Like, you're actually going and walking the 6th Avenue in New York City in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. I mean, it just doesn't really get much bigger than that here. I mean, it just is so cool. So yeah, I was excited for you guys. I was nervous. I always get nervous. I mean, nerves. I know Mr. Bowen talked about that too. Like, that nerves is like, it's a thing, and I think it's a healthy thing.
That's probably. I was so nervous for that because like everyone's watching. Like everyone across the whole nation is just watching you. It just, and I think the adrenaline, and I get nervous for every performance that we do. And honestly, I probably get more nervous for like my students dancing than me dancing. I mean, I can go out and I still get nervous to go out and dance, but like, it's just, you're my kids, and you have just worked so hard. And so yeah, I was nervous. I was definitely nervous, especially when I like was waiting to see you guys walk down the street, and then when I could see the green, I was like, oh, there they are. Like,
they're
coming. Oh my gosh, this is happening.
Yes.
I remember we woke up at 4 a.m. Me, Stephanie, and Justine, we shared a room, and I'm sure Marissa loved that, waking up, and we were trying to be so quiet doing our hair and makeup, but we were just like, we had so much energy. We were so excited. And it was like, I woke up like 5 minutes before my alarm, because like, when you're like excited, like Christmas morning, like you wake up like early because you're just excited. So we woke up and did our makeup. I think we had to be downstairs, because where we like rehearsed was in our hotel, so we had to be downstairs in there with everything on. We even had like masks that matched our costumes, or everything sparkly, at like 6 probably. So it was early morning, and then we all walked to like, it was like when we were lining up for the parade, we walked to there. We had to be there at a certain time, and then we like waited for a few hours. We like slept on the streets so we can see.
Didn't you guys have like the marathon blankets?
Yeah, we said we looked like potatoes.
Yes, like baked potatoes.
Yeah, because it was like, I've never seen that before. It was like shiny and like silver.
They use them for like marathons, like after the marathons, and the runners get they're like blankets kind of. But yeah, like warming. Yeah.
They worked though.
They
were really warm. Like, especially when the sunlight hit it, because it was cold, and our costumes.
Oh, I bet.
Our costumes were not warm at all. Like, they were not meant for warm. So we wore like sweatpants, sweatshirt, whatever. But whatever we wore, we had to donate after, because like no one can hold your stuff during the parade, because you're not getting that back. So, and then I remember we were like, okay, it's time to start. We were all sleeping like on the street, like it was blocked off, no cars were coming or anything. And then they were like, okay, it's time to stand up and wake up and start lining up. And there was like a few porta potties right there, like next to us, that we could use. So everyone was like in the lines ready. And I was like, okay, I really have to go to the bathroom. So I was like, I'm just gonna go. As soon as I shut the door, everyone starts screaming so loud, and I was like, what am I missing? So I hurried up, and like Jordan Fisher was right there because he was in front of us. So as soon as he went by, then we went in.
Yes.
And I was like, are you kidding? Jordan Fisher?
Yes.
Like, crazy. And then we got in line, we started walking, and then Nelly was behind us.
I was going to say, I totally fangirled when Nelly went
Yeah.
by. I was, like, freaking out on Liz,
So,
and she's probably like, Abby, chill.
We like referred to everybody by their color, so we went green, pink, yellow.
Yeah.
And so the green was by Jordan Fisher, and the yellow was by Nelly. So we were like, we asked like all the way down the line, like, is that Nelly behind us?
Oh
And
my gosh.
we said, like the pink person was right next to me. I said, ask somebody who's yellow if that's neon, if that's Nelly, neon yellow, if that's Nelly back there. And they went to send it all the way down, and they came all the way back up to green, and they were like, yes,
Yep,
that's him.
Nelly.
And
Yeah,
then,
it
so
was so cool.
Then you walk on like the street, and there's so many people there, like watching, and it's like
Yeah.
they're from like there's people who come from everywhere
Yep.
to watch that. It's just so crazy. Like,
Well, and I
New
think there were
York.
probably more, maybe not more, but definitely more than the last couple times,
Yeah.
you know, than last year, of course. But I think, you know, people were just happy to be there and be able to be there. And I think that is like so cool. So yeah, it was just such a cool experience. I don't know. What was your favorite part, do you think, Sarah?
Well, I think it was, I don't know if it was the day before the parade, 2 days before. So like we went to actual Macy's. Some people went to a Broadway show, but it was like me, my sister Carly Cremines, Aubrey, and Claire, and then Aubrey's mom and Carly's mom. We just like kind of did whatever because we weren't going to that show that night. So we went to like Macy's because we wanted to go shopping. You know, the iconic
Yes.
nine
gosh.
floors of Macy's, and the green star like that you see on TV is right outside of it. So like all that week there was people doing dress rehearsals. So there was a store across the street, and it was like the Crocs store, and we just wanted to go to it. So we went out there, and it was closed, but there were people like rehearsing, doing their dress rehearsal for NBC, like the big lights and the big cameras. Like that was crazy. But we were trying to go to the Crocs store, but it was closed. And then I see like someone with like the jacket, Spirit of America jacket. He was like a chaperone, or not a chaperone, but like a leader, like a group leader. And he was like taking pictures of someone, and I was like, who are they taking pictures of? Like someone was on the star, like I don't know, everyone was like freaking out. So I like figured out who it was, and it was Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yes.
And he made like Hamilton. He made a bunch of Broadway shows. He made
And you and Siege went like crazy.
yeah, all of us did. So it was at this point it was just me, Aubrey, and Carly, and then Carly like Cremines, and then my sister Carly and Claire were still in Macy's shopping, and my sister is like a big fan of all things Hamilton or like Broadway. So I was like, she's gonna freak out.
Yes.
So I FaceTimed her, and I was like, you need to get out here right now because Lin-Manuel Miranda's there. And then we also saw the girl who made Claire's solo song last year.
Yes, I remember her saying that
And
too.
then Claire, like, she was like, so there was a lot of like black like SUVs, you know, like very like because like in the middle of New York, famous people, like it's got to be like
right.
So there was a lot of those, and then like you could tell they weren't supposed to talk to the fans because Claire told her I did my solo to your song last year, and she like smiled and was like trying not to look at Claire because like I don't know, but that was definitely because like seeing someone that famous like in New York though, like like he's a big deal, especially at our house and my sister.
Yeah, it was so cool. And I mean, you know, I think that was a really cool experience too, was to see you guys do the dress rehearsal as well. So when we all got invited to go down to the Star in front of Macy's to watch them rehearse, and it was really funny because wasn't the music wrong? Like
they had
the wrong cut of the music, and it played a different song.
But we just kept going.
But they did exactly what they were supposed to do, what we've told them from day one. Like, if a technical difficulty happens, you just keep dancing. You just keep doing it.
And
don't even worry about it.
Yeah, the next day in rehearsal, we had to practice a bunch of things, like scenarios, like if this happens, what do you do?
Yep. So, but that was a super cool experience as well. And there were a couple other people who were practicing going through their dress rehearsal that night too. So that was pretty cool to see.
A lot of famous people.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of famous people in the Rockettes. That was crazy.
Oh, the Rockettes. Oh my gosh. Can we take a minute for that? Because
iconic.
Oh man, that truly might have been the highlight of the trip for me, because we've seen the Rockettes 3 or 4 times, like their traveling troupe for their Christmas show. But just to walk into Radio City Music Hall and like see the sign outside. We could actually see the sign from our hotel.
We could, yeah.
I mean, we could walk out the front door of our hotel and see Radio City Music Hall. But oh my gosh, just to walk in there and like that huge chandelier that was in the lobby and the staircases going up to the theater, and it was just beautiful.
When we were sitting there waiting, I think I was sitting next to Stephanie, and I don't remember who I was sitting next to, but when we were waiting for the show to start, we were looking up all the events that had been held in there, and it was like the NFL draft is at Radio City, and then like a bunch of award shows. Like people, like famous people have sat in these seats before. Yeah, that was crazy.
I think Josh Groban has a residency there starting in April maybe, which is gonna be super cool. But yeah, I mean the Rockettes are iconic. They're just a New York City must. I think it's, even if you're not into dance, like Brody, I think you would even enjoy it.
That was like so many things happening.
Yeah,
at once.
I mean,
like,
it
so
just
many, everything Christmas, so many sparkles, so much dance and singing.
Yeah,
and, like, the orchestra, that was crazy.
Yeah, and I think that's like the cool thing about that trip too. I think anybody would have enjoyed that trip. I mean, I think there's just like so many things to see there. And
there's something for everybody in New
there
York.
Is.
At any time, because it's a city that never sleeps.
Yeah, and I mean, I know a couple of your girls were like, oh my gosh, I want to live here someday. And I'm like,
Yes.
you totally need to. Like, if that is a dream of yours, let's make it happen and let's do it.
I would totally live there, except I would probably walk everywhere because I was not a fan of the subways. They scared me.
Were you?
The first time we ever got in the subway, so we went and sat down. You know, everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, we're in New York!" Like the first day, we were all like so excited. And then so me and Stephanie are sitting by each other, and then the door shut. I don't think anybody else saw this besides me and Stephanie, because every time I asked someone, no one else said they saw this. But like, this guy came in, the door shut behind him, and he like lifts up his hands, he drops to his knees, and he's like, "Everybody listen to me." And we were like so scared because like, I don't know, just like people can be scary sometimes. And then he started going on about how he was hungry and how he needed food, and he was like looking at us, and he was like, "Can you just follow me and get me food?" And we were just like, trying not to look, like things like that.
I think if you know, you just mind your business. And
then there's like the New Yorkers who are just sitting there with their like AirPods and not even looking.
Right.
And me and Stephanie were like, we don't know what to do.
Yeah. I think, I mean, again, for the most part, it was, I mean, I never felt unsafe.
I never felt, me either.
Like, you just, and you know, you hear things about big cities, and you obviously need to be cautious because you have to do that everywhere. But no, I just loved it.
The people there were nice too. Everyone I came encounter with was nice.
They were so nice. Oh my gosh, you know, you hear about like New Yorkers that are like, you know, everything is like so fast paced and like go,
which it is. But
and it is, but I remember one night, I think it was the first night that we got there, and we like arrived at the hotel, and you literally had like 5 minutes to run up to the room.
I didn't even go to my room.
You didn't even go to your room.
Yeah.
And get dressed and go down to rehearsal for that first night. And I mean, these girls spent hours in that ballroom. It was crazy.
That is crazy.
I was so sore because it was like everything you had to do was so sharp, and there's so many like hair flips, so like my neck was hurting so bad.
But we ran into these 4 girls who were trying to get their luggage up to their room, and they were like, "Oh my God, we haven't eaten since 7 o'clock this morning." And at that time, it was like 5 o'clock at night, 6 o'clock at night, something like that. And I was like, "Okay, we'll go get you pizza. Like, we'll run around," because there was a like Joe's Pizza right around the corner. So we're like, "We'll go grab you some pizza and come back." And so we did, and like we got to the pizza place, my mom and I, and we were like, "Okay, we need this, like trying to make it like quick for the people that were working there." And they were like, "Okay, it's okay, like just relax." And we were like, "Okay, yeah, that's right. We can just relax for a second, like just chill. Nothing. We don't have to hurry so much." So, yeah, everybody there was so nice. It was awesome. And we did a carriage ride through Central Park. Like that was
Central Park was fun for me.
Central Park was so beautiful.
Because when we went, right before we went to Central Park, so in like comp class, do you remember learning about the soup Nazi?
The soup,
The
soup place.
Yeah, so that's like
tell us about that.
Iconic thing that we learned in Comp 1 class. And so it was in New York, and so one day we were learning about that, and it was like so me and Stephanie were like, "Oh, it's in New York. We should just for fun look where it's at." And it was only like a few blocks away from our hotel, and we're like, "Oh my gosh."
Did you get any?
Yeah. We were like, we have to go see the soup Nazi and get the iconic soup that everyone says is the best soup in the world. And so we we told our Mrs. Bull, and we're like, look at this, and she was like, okay, you have to get some, and then tell us about it. So then we asked like you guys, and they were like, you guys were like, of course we can go get some. So we walked there, everyone got soup, and you know, like the stereotype, like he like yells at you, but he was so nice, and we told him we were there because of
the book
of the class, and he was like, he thought that was cool, and then
like wasn't it on like Seinfeld or something, like that was one of the main like
we watched like the clip of that.
They like that's one of the main
that's why they
Seinfeld.
Like, they called it the soup Nazi on Seinfeld. And so there was like pictures hanging up from that in there too, and so we all got our soup. We took a picture with him.
Did.
I was texting Mrs. Bull, and I was like, we're a block away, I can see the soup sign, and she was like, and then she told me something, I don't remember, she said something like, you better make sure you get your bread or something, because you know in the episode he like doesn't do it the right way and he doesn't get his bread. But so we all got our soup,
so funny.
And then Central Park was just around the corner, so we walked there and we sat in Central Park and ate our soup and bread and fruit, and it was the best soup I've ever had. It was so good.
And that was such a chill day too, like, and it was so nice to just get a bowl of soup, and like you really felt New Yorky when you were doing that, because you're like, I'm just gonna take my little bag of soup and go to Central Park, and we found a little rock to sit on.
And then we just, I just observed people.
Yes. Like, the people watching is awesome there.
I just sat there and ate my soup. It was so good. And then I had my bread and my, I don't know, it was like a red pear. That was the fruit. And then they also gave you like a chocolate Andes mint. It was just like nice. Perfect meal. Yeah, that was a cool experience too. Yeah. And that guy, the owner, was super nice. And it literally, like, this place was like a little hole in the wall. Like it was, you didn't go into the store. It was like, you were walking on the sidewalk and they like pull the little curtain thing open and then there it is. Like there's the thing. So you didn't even go in. You like just, the line was outside. And
so was the line long or?
Not really.
And they went fast. Like you go, you get soup and you move, and then you pay and you're done. It's really fast.
It was.
I remember, did you ask someone at the hotel about it? Like how to get to it? And then they said like, just so you know, like it's going to be like right there.
Yes, I did. Gosh. And you know, our hotel was like prime location to everything. Like we could walk everywhere except the Statue of Liberty, because that was like way downtown. But the Midtown Manhattan was like, we could get anywhere by foot. And like Times Square was like 3 blocks from our hotel. So
Times Square was like, it almost is like, same with Central Park. Like when you walk in, it's like there's nothing else. Like Central Park, as soon as you walk in, you cannot hear the street anymore. It's just like birds. And then
that's
like
crazy.
Times Square, when you walk in, it's just like lights everywhere. It's like,
Times Square was super cool too.
It's a lot to take in. It's like, whoa.
I know. When you guys were in rehearsal the first time we went to Times Square with just the moms and I think we were all just like, we're in a circle and just standing there. We were like, just looking up around us and like, oh my gosh, we are standing in the middle of Times Square right now. Like, and there's the New Year's Eve ball that's going to drop in a month. And it was so cool. But yeah, Central Park was really neat. And they did explain kind of how they really customize that the deeper you get into Central Park, like the farther you get in, the lower it gets. So then the less of the city you see and hear. And it was so
Central
true.
Central Park is so much bigger than I thought it was. It's like, you say it like Central Park's big, but it's like, it's huge.
Oh, and we only saw a fraction of it. I
like
mean, there was so much more than what we saw.
And even when you like just barely walk in, like I don't know how that works. Like the trees must like block it out or something. But like as soon as you walk in, you cannot hear the city at all.
It's like
it's
gone.
just like
quiet. It's way cool. So.
And there's people like on their bikes, and there's people with their dogs, and there's like the carriage rides, like just so much happening. But like I don't know.
Yeah, it was just everything about it was beautiful. It's a beautiful city. Yeah, and I would love to go back.
I've never been. I think it sounds cool from what you guys have been saying, though.
Yeah,
it's
I think I'd go.
The best experience I've had.
Yeah, I think you'd like it, Brody.
I feel like anybody would.
I think anybody would. I mean, there's so much like history there. Like, I don't know if you're into history. Like Siege is like totally into history. So, I wish we could have taken her to the library, the public library. I think that would have been. I think she would have liked that a lot. But like even the sports there, like you know, and they had lots of like didn't they have like an MLB?
Yeah, they had like an MLB and
an NBA. Like there were, I mean, it was a huge
NFL, like these big like stores. It's just like,
but it was almost museum looking. Yeah. Like it looked like they had, and we didn't get to go in there just because there just wasn't enough time.
Yeah.
But they were huge. They were like 3 stories high and just
all the stores are just massive. Like like coming from Iowa, where there's not really any stores where it's like multiple floors. or like go up the escalator for the women's section.
Yes.
And it's like there, it's like, whoa.
Right. When you walk into Macy's and you go to the 4th floor of the shoe department, and you're like, oh my gosh, the entire floor is shoes.
That's where I my sparkly cheetah Converse.
I know. These girls all had to buy like Doc Martens and
so
Converse.
We went into Macy's. We go up the 4th floor, and you go up the escalator, and that's the first shoe I saw, and it was just like sparkly Converse, and I was like,
yeah.
So
I have to have those.
I didn't buy them then, but I texted my mom, and I was like, look at these shoes. And for Christmas, she like got on.
Nice.
No, it was awesome. The Statue of Liberty was amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, that was beautiful. I had people, some friends that had been to New York, and they were like, yeah, the Statue of Liberty, it's cool, but
like
it's not as big as I thought it was going to be. And like when we got there, I was like, what are you talking about? It's ginormous.
Yeah.
Like it's huge and it's beautiful. And yeah, that was a cool day too.
So many pictures I took, but I'm glad I did because I'll have
Oh
those
yeah. The memories
there's a lot
are
of pictures
just
at the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
But like, because it was like on a boat, and then there's like over like the speakers, it's like them telling the history of it, and it's just like, whoa, I don't know. It's a lot.
Yeah, there's so much history, and the other cool thing, I think they were talking about that during the Statue of Liberty cruise, where the downtown and like lower Manhattan, the street names are different than in Manhattan because the settlers like named the streets, and then they decided to start just by numbering them. So everything's First Street, 2nd Street, 3rd Street, and then 1st Avenue, 2nd Avenue, 3rd Avenue. And I think that's why it's so easy to get around there, because you know that if I need to go south, I need to go to, or if I need to go to 1st Street, I need to go south, or if I need to go to 10th Street, I need to go north, or vice versa. So I think that was kind of a cool
and then when you're
piece.
standing there, and then you're like, which way am I going? And then you look, and it's like 7th, and then
5th, and so you're like, okay, now I know which way I need to go. So yeah. It's just so cool. But yeah, I think you would like it, Brody. I think you should go there sometime.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
When we were actually walking the parade route, we walked past like the MLB. I don't even know what those buildings were, but they were huge. And they had like in the windows like mannequins of like in all like the uniforms. I literally thought they were people. Like at first glance I was like, why are those people wearing baseball uniforms? And I was like, oh, those are
Yeah. And there's so many museums there that like the Museum of Modern Art, I think, would be beautiful to see. The next time we go, I am going to make a point of going to the New York City Ballet. That's like a goal of mine, to go see a show there the next time we go. But and just to see the Broadway shows was like so cool. And you think about like Broadway theaters. So I did learn what off-Broadway and off-Broadway means, which I did not know. I don't know if you heard anybody talking about that, but it depends on the number of seats that are in the auditorium. And that's like how actors get into like an off-Broadway show or a Broadway show. So you're either in a Broadway, an off-Broadway, or off-Broadway. And so it's depending on the number of seats. So it's basically just the size of the venue. Yeah. And so that was kind of cool to learn. But the theaters were very like intimate and smaller than I expected.
Yeah, so when we went to 6, and then everything was like themed like that show. And I don't know, I never realized that one theater is meant for one show.
Yes.
Like I figured it was like a bunch of different ones, but then we went there and it's like everything has like crowns and it's like so like England like castle themed, and it's like I guess I didn't know that. That was cool.
And just seeing the marquees of like Aladdin and The Lion King and Wicked and Hamilton and it was awesome. I mean,
You should definitely make it a point to go.
You
there.
should.
I think I should. Maybe this summer. Maybe take a trip there.
Summertime in New York would be fine.
Although
like wintertime is beautiful.
Christmas in New York, that's...
Yeah.
I remember it was the night after... It was Thanksgiving night, but technically like the next morning because we went ice skating at like midnight.
We did.
And it was like...
we were like, we have one night left. We got to get this in.
Yeah, the Christmas lights started to turn on like in the city. Like, they say that when Santa comes through in the parade, then everyone turns the Christmas lights on, and like it was true. Like after the parade, all the lights were on and stuff. Yeah. And then there was a guy like working because it was like in this park, and he was like just sweeping, and then he was like talking about how like city that never sleeps. There's so many people there at like midnight.
That's definitely true. I mean. And we were out late a couple of the nights that we were out doing. Well, the night we went ice skating, and but it just people are just out all the time, and there's stuff going on all the time.
Yeah.
So it's pretty fun.
And when you look up, it's just buildings.
Yeah, and lights.
And then you come back to Iowa, and then the week after, like the weekend after, me and my mom and my sister went and watched the Nutcracker in Davenport, and it was like, this is weird. Like, I thought Davenport was like city, and then it's like, no.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's just a cool experience for all of us, and coming from small towns just doesn't mean you have to stay in a small town. I mean, there's so much more out there that and that's what's cool about you guys, is that you get to kind of experience that and explore like what else is out there. So I'm excited for you guys. I think
can't wait.
I know, and I'm just just to see where you guys go and where you land, and going to school next year, Brody, is going to be a whole new experience for you.
I know,
and I think that's good. Are you excited or nervous or
a little bit of both?
What do you think?
I mean, it's gonna be fun on my own, but then there's that scary part where like, oh, mom's not there to do this for me.
Exactly. Well, she's still gonna be there.
Yeah, she's gonna be there. But like if I forget to do my laundry, it's my fault. And I'm like, Mom, you should have done it. No, she's not there. It's
mine. I mean, I'm 36-year-old, and my mom's still there for me all the time. So I don't think that'll ever change.
Yeah, definitely.
But no, I think that's awesome. So what are your plans? Like, do you have a major that you're
I'm thinking probably business or something like that.
Okay, awesome.
Hopefully I stick with this podcasting stuff, maybe come up with my own,
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yes. I remember you guys talking about that with John, yeah.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. And sports-wise, are you doing anything with that?
No, I'm not.
Do they have like rec sports at UNI?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they do.
Yeah.
I'll probably do some of those just to stay like in shape.
Yeah. My sister did some of that at Iowa, and she was like, it was like the most fun that we had.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah. So awesome.
So I guess I was just talking about Davenport. We were just in Davenport for our dance competition.
Yes,
last
we were.
weekend. We could talk about dance competitions.
Okay.
For a while.
Let's do.
Well, we do like 3 each year.
Yes.
And so this year we're doing Davenport, Des Moines, and is it Iowa City or Cedar Rapids?
The third one's in Des Moines as well.
Oh, they're both in Des Moines. But last year there was.
Last year we did the one in Cedar Rapids. Yeah. Yep. So so we started when we started the lADC company, it was more of just a performing company. It wasn't really like, we're not a huge competitive studio. My mom's never been that way, and that's just not something that's on our top priority list as studio owners. But when we started the company, we did more just like community outreach and community performances. We danced at like we did a Rough Riders game. We did the Globetrotters came to Des Moines one year, and we danced at the halftime show of that. So just different things around the state. We didn't travel too far. And then I think some of the girls were just like, we really want to go to a competition. We want to compete and see what that's all about. And so I was kind of like, okay, well, let me talk to Leanne and see what she thinks. And we just kind of decided we're not going to know till we try and see how the girls like it. And so we did. And the first year that we did our first competition, we had only been registered for one, because we were like, we're just going to try one and see kind of how it goes and how we like it. And the girls liked it so much that they were like, can we do another one? So we did another one the next weekend. Like we did like a last minute registration thing, and we were like, sure, let's just keep doing it.
Yeah.
So then we kind of, every year things change a little bit, and we adjust to make it work for everybody. Or what's like the best fit for us. So we've kind of settled on 3 competitions, and we do regional competitions. We've never done a national competition yet. Those are usually like in the end of June, July, which that's always been on my back radar to kind of like maybe reach out to that national stage. But yeah, so we do 3 regionals. And they're weekend competitions, so most of them run Friday through Sunday. One of ours, I guess this last weekend was Thursday through Sunday. So we start our, it's kind of a full year process where when we do our auditions for lADC, which is in like early May, then we meet with all the girls to discuss like what your guys' wants are, as far as, so right now we have 3 company groups. We have a junior, a teen, and a senior, and each one of those groups does a group dance, and then we offer like individual dances. So if somebody wants to do a solo or a duet or a trio or a small group, those are all extra on top of the group dance. So then we try to work with the dancers and try to get your guys' feedback on like music selection or type, like genre type, if you want jazz, lyrical, tap, ballet, because I mean, that's your dance too. So we want you to love it, and that's how you get to perform really good. So then we start working on choreography in the summer, and then we start teaching you the choreography in like September, October, and then we work, and then we start competitions in February is usually when we try.
So is dance like is there like a season, or is it just like all year?
So for the dancers, there's like a season, I would say. But
when's that like?
So
time
classes, well, lADC classes we usually start a little bit earlier. So August through May is the season. So we try to stick with the school season.
I was about to say that's like the whole school year.
Yeah, we try to stick with the school season. And then in the summer, we do like, again, just a little bit of like choreography, working on that kind of stuff. But there aren't any like actual classes unless we have to pull them in for like some type of choreography or training or something like that. So
gotcha.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, and then we have Miss Allie come back and do some choreography for us. She lives in Chicago, and she was a student at Iowa that my sister knew, that taught her girls dance in Chicago. So when she came to school at Iowa, then we kind of recruited her to come teach with us.
Gotcha.
Which was great, and the girls love her, and we love her, and yeah, so she's awesome to have on hand as well. So she does a lot of our choreography for us too. So
and she got to come to our competition last weekend. That was the first time any of us seen her in a long time since she lives so far away. We're all so excited. We're like at school on Friday. We're like, oh my gosh, we get to see Allie this weekend.
Yes, I know. Emma was like, I think I'm just most excited to see Allie, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so awesome that you guys are like. Yeah, and I think she's young and she's, closer to your age, so I think the connection is there that. You have that too.
And when we were doing like our choreography for like me and Stephanie's duet, she's very good about like she'll give us like options, like, do you want to do this or this? And so it's like kind of we get to pick too.
Yeah, and I think that's really important for a choreographer or for, any coach that you're dealing with, whatever sport or activity you're doing. I mean, it's got to be a joint effort. You can't, it doesn't work if it's just a one-way street. So you got to have feedback from your athletes and dancers or students or.
So how do you kind of like come up with the dance, Like, I have no clue how that works.
Yeah.
I just show up to practice, like, all right, let's do this.
So the partner dance is a little bit different because I don't know the guys' skill as much as I know what the girls can do. Like, I kind of know, like, what their strengths are, and every single dancer has their own strength. And I think that's, like, I really try to focus in on those things for each dancer because – like Siege, I told her the other day, I'm like, Siege, you could turn on the top of the Eiffel Tower.
She's so good at turning, and I'm so jealous of her.
I mean, she did like, I don't even know how many Alistacones she did.
Yeah.
It was like, and this is just like a continuous spin.
And she stays in the same spot.
And she stays in the same spot,
so straight,
which is so hard to do.
And I'm so jealous of her. I wish I could.
Well, you shouldn't be because you have your strengths too, Sahara. But yeah, so I really try to play off of that. I try to use their strengths to our advantage because there are some people who are like Claire is so strong, and I know she can do so many jumps, and Sahara, you're the same way. Like I know like the I don't like to call them tricks, but that's I don't know another word to say it, but there's just certain things that I'm like, okay, I know Sahara can do that, so I'm gonna put that right there, or so I like to go into a dance kind of like, I hear the music, I know kind of what I want to do in which part of the music, and the girls kind of always poke fun at me because I usually start my dances like in the middle of a song, and then I like choreograph from the middle and then work to the end, and then I go back to the beginning and then choreograph to the middle. So I'm kind of doing it backwards and throwing it weird at them, but again, we're trusting the process. And it always comes out at the end.
Yeah, sometimes we'll just be in class, you know, she will say, like, in the beginning, she'll be like, okay, let's try this combo, and then, oh, this is going to be in your dance. And then we actually start choreographing, like, the rest of it. And then there'll be times where we'll do it, and then after we're done, she just stands there and just stares at us and doesn't say anything because she's, like, thinking, and she's, like, just looking at us, and we're like, what?
I know.
She's like, I'm thinking.
I know. Sometimes I get, like, zoned in on something, and, like, I totally just, like, make eye contact with somebody, and I'm
she
just
like stares into their soul.
I do, and I'm just like, I need you to do this.
I've seen
right?
that a couple of times at dance. You just like look at someone, I'm like, what did they do wrong?
Nothing. That's just me, like visions pop in, and especially in the partner dance.
Yeah.
Like when I see the boys, and I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, Brody just did this, so let's like use that. Hold on, do that again, Brody. Like I gotta see that again so I can like feed off of that and build off of it. Or like, you know, you can obviously tell, like see the connections that you guys have with your partners is really cool too. And I think I like to feed off of that a lot too. Because it's so cool, and there's like no awkwardness, and it's just like people will try something and it might be kind of a weird move or something, but then we try it again and then it works. So
I also I picked Garrett because I knew I can put a lot of trust into him, because I've known him since literally I was born. Like I've known the Hoyts my entire life. So when he just throws me on his shoulder, it's like, okay, I guess.
Yeah, and I think the partner dance is just so fun. And like I always tell the girls, I'm like, okay, when you pick your partner, you have to make sure that they understand that it is a commitment for the entire rest of the year. Like it's not, you can't just show up for one practice and then be done. And I always kind of tread lightly with like choosing the person that you might be dating at the time to be your partner, because I'm like, I don't want it to get awkward if it, you know, I'm not saying that it's not going to work out, but so I think we've just never had an issue. It just has always worked out. So
Garrett,
it's fun.
I love doing it with Garrett though. He's always like, well, you'll be like, who wants to try this trick? And I'll look at Garrett, do you want to? And he's like, I mean, if you want to. Like when he we do the toe touch, and then I was like, I really want to do this, and Garrett was like, okay, I guess we can try it. And then he just, I don't know, it's just so, the feeling of someone lifting you like as you jump at the same time, it's so weird. Like, because it's like you feel like you're just jumping, but then it's like extra.
But you get extra lift.
And then he just like put me on his shoulders, and I was like, this is
okay, here we are.
Yeah.
Like it works. It works. Yeah, and I mean the human helicopter, that's been my favorite for a long time. I love that.
You did that 2 years ago,
was it 2 years ago?
Is it hard to do, like, as the base?
No, I don't really think so. Like once you get momentum, it's you kind of just keep going.
Yeah.
You don't even want to like really stop.
Right.
The hardest part I think is slowing down.
Yeah.
Like when you want to stop, and then
Yeah.
Otherwise it's pretty easy.
So like for people who don't know, Brody has a girl on his shoulders, and then her legs like stick out, and then another girl holds onto her leg, so it's like one person on top and bottom, and then Brody's just spinning, and then a lot of things are happening.
Yeah, so I got that trick from the Iowa cheerleaders. So
Really?
I was at a basketball game, and they went out and did their halftime routine, and they did this, and I was like, oh my god, that is like the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. And so I was like, we can do that. We can try it. We'll try it. But you have to have the right people. I mean, I wouldn't, you know, and that's what I try to say that in all of the classes, like, this is a comfort thing for you guys, that if you're not comfortable trying something, we don't try it, because that's when accidents can happen. And, you know, I definitely don't want any injuries to happen. So it's definitely, and I say that with all my classes, like, if there are things that, you know, you don't feel comfortable trying, then that's totally fine.
The turning disc.
Oh, Sahara. It's going to be like a nightmare of mine forever.
I wasn't even
I still don't even know how that happened.
I don't really know either. We're learning a new jump, and it's going to be in our group dance for lADC, and everyone's just doing it over and over. And like, I did it like multiple times. It was just like I had to get my leg up, so I was just like, keep doing it.
Yeah.
But it was like, for some reason, and when I actually did it, my legs were like the way they were.
It was a great jump.
But then like when I landed, I don't even know what I did. And it was like my
you
fault.
touched the other leg.
Yeah, I took like the wrong leg.
Yeah.
Or something, and then it just like.
And then it broke her foot.
Yeah, at the time.
She broke her foot. I'm like, what?
At the time, I was like, oh, that hurt a little bit. And then I got up and I think I did it again, but I didn't land it wrong. But like, then I got home. I was like, Mom, I was joking. I was like, Mom, every time I like get hurt, I say like I broke my arm. It's not broke, but like, Mom, I broke my foot at dance. And then she just like ignores me. And then the next morning,
Because she knows you say that all the time.
Yeah. And I was joking too. Like it hurt a little bit, but I was like, oh, whatever. And then the next morning, I woke up and I like could not walk, and I was like, oh, okay, Mom, I think it's actually broken.
Yeah, when I got that text message from you, my stomach just sunk, and
yeah,
because
I started it with like, remember how I landed that wrong,
and that's like the worst way to start it. I'm like, oh my gosh, no.
Yeah.
So yeah, my stomach just sunk. I remember calling your mom and being like, I'm so sorry.
It was my fault though. Like
I know, but it's nobody's fault.
Yeah.
It just happened, and those things do happen. They happen in any sport. I mean, I don't know, Brody. Have you had any injuries in any of your sports?
Yeah, I broke my finger in wrestling, and I broke my hand in football.
Yeah.
So
Oh. Yeah.
When I broke my finger, I like got like thrown on the ground, and my finger like got stuck, and like it bent. So my like middle finger was bent like that for the day. I was like, I didn't think it was broken. It hurt obviously a lot.
Yeah.
But the time when I knew it was broken, my sister was like messing with me, and she like lightly tapped it, and I dropped to the ground. It hurt so bad. It was like
that was probably the worst pain I felt in my life. Like a tiny little bone in my foot. Like I used to think like that was the first time I ever broke a bone, my only broken bone, and I was like, oh, everyone's like, oh, it hurts, and I was like, okay, but like a tiny bone in your foot like can't hurt that bad, but it hurts.
It
so
does,
bad.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Well, I've never had a broken bone, so knock on wood. Knock on wood. But I mean, high ankle sprains have been my biggest thing, but that was like in high school in sports. But
it's just crazy how that like a little crack in the bone can hurt so bad.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. And like even just like such a minor thing that you did can break a bone.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't think about that all the time, that, one wrong step and you got a broken foot. And you're in a boot for 6 weeks.
Well, I was supposed to be in it and on crutches for longer, but I just like healed fast, I guess.
That's so
and
awesome.
When I got my x-rays, the doctors were like, are you a dancer? I can tell. Because I didn't tell them like I didn't tell them it was from dance, but they're like looking at my bones and they're like, you can tell. Like,
that is awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, yeah, I actually broke it in dance last night. And then everyone at the hospital was like, well, that was good timing, because it was right after we got back from New York.
I mean, seriously, if you have to look at it that way, it couldn't have been better timing. Because it was right after New York, and it was before competition.
Yeah,
and
I wasn't supposed to be back till like early February, and then I was dancing in January.
Yeah.
I was just...
So, I mean, not that I would ever want that to happen to anybody at any time, but...
If it would have happened anywhere else, that wouldn't have been good.
No.
Like right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Right now, that would be really bad.
And Stephanie was scared. She was like, are you going to be able to do the duet? And I was like, I got this. I can do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now it's like...
You're a trooper.
Everyone says, I forgot you broke your foot, because...
It seems like it was so long ago.
Yeah.
It does. It does.
That was rough at school, having to use crutches, because everyone, like, my biggest thing, everyone was just staring at me. It was, like, so embarrassing.
It's just such a hindrance. Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
Over it now, though. In the past.
That is in the past. Water under the bridge. We're past that. But yeah, no, I'm just looking forward to the future.
Me too.
I'm excited. I'm sad to see the seniors go, just because they, you guys have such a good core group, and like it's such.
We're all so close.
Yes, and you work so well together, and you dance so beautifully together, and
beauty and grace.
Yes, I mean seriously, and I think that is like, dance is so much more than just dancing, and there's so much more to it than that.
Like our group dance, at the last competition, 100% I'm gonna cry, because it's like feels like home, and it's like when the seniors leave, and it's like
it is. It's just that song. My mom and we've loved that song. It's from How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. I don't know if you guys have seen that movie. It's Kate Hudson and but Matthew McConaughey. But we've loved that song forever, and we always have like songs kind of held in our back pockets for like the right time, the right group, and we've tried that song before with other groups, but it just never like worked out. And this year I was like, we gotta do Feel Like Home. We gotta do it. It just is the right feel, and
right time, because the seniors wanted a lyrical dance, right?
They did. They wanted a lyrical dance, because last year was like super sassy jazz, and
that was fun.
It was fun. That was a super cute dance. Actually, it was like the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So we didn't get to compete last year, or the year before, I guess. But yeah, it's just it's fun, and it's awesome to be inspired by music, and and be inspired by you guys too. I mean, in the world of social media right now, where like you guys see things and it's like, hey, let me show you this video. I want to try this trick. And I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. Like we could totally do that. Let's try it. So just the world of dance is like so broad right now. And it's like, there's so much that you can explore and take in. So I think that's cool.
That is cool.
Yeah. Dance is definitely more than just dance.
It is. It is. There's so much more than just learning the dance. And yeah. I mean, I think just the life lessons that we learn and the self-discipline. And I think that's with any sport. I mean, Brody, you know, with wrestling, like, so I'm going to be completely honest. I was never like a huge fan of wrestling. And so James, my son, who's in preschool, he wanted to do wrestling, like the little wrestling tiger, peewee wrestling thing. And I was like, okay, I will try it. And like, I don't know anything about wrestling, but well, you know, if you want to try it, let's do it. I'm all for like letting my kids do whatever they want to do, like, and try anything. So we did. And so I was like nonchalantly asking Claire, who she blows my mind. Like she's awesome. Just asking her like some things about wrestling so I could maybe kind of know what I was talking about with James, because I had no idea even like what anything meant. And he came home one night after class or after wrestling, and I asked him what he did, and he's like, we did the Dieter drill. And I'm like, okay, what's the Dieter drill? Okay. And so he like did the little knee drop thing as you're like walking on the mat or whatever. Yeah. It's not really called the Dieter drill, is it? What is it?
It's a Snyder.
Yeah.
Snyder. Okay.
Yep.
So I was asking Claire, I was like, so is this like, what is this thing? So I was trying to do it in class, and she was like, oh yeah, that's the Snyder drill. And so I was like, okay, well, he was close. He was close.
Yep.
And so then, I don't know. Claire and I just, in one of her private lessons, we just got talking about wrestling, and like, whoa, it is like an intense sport. Yep, and there's so, again, kind of like dance, there's so much more to wrestling than just the people wrestling on the mat. Like when you're watching the match, like there's so much more that goes into it, and so much thought process, and like it's such a mind game too.
100%.
And reaction time is, I think, I mean, and again, I'm not I know nothing about wrestling,
right, you're right.
But like, I just think of like the reaction time that you have to have.
Yeah, someone shoots in, you got to sprawl. Like,
you got to know what to do in any scenario, which is, again, it's kind of the same as dance. Like, you have to know what's going to happen what do you do if this situation happens, or what do you do if someone.
We talked about that in the podcast with Peyton, like, what do you do if something falls? And then they were like, how am I supposed to know that? And I was like, as a dancer, you just know.
You know, yeah. So I think that's really, there's so many like connections and similarities to all sports and all activities.
One day in the studio, James was showing us he was tiger stance.
And
he was like
tiger ready, tiger stance.
And he was like doing it like this. The way he was doing it, you could 100% tell he grew up in the dance studio, because he looked like a dancer. He was like this. he loved showing us his tiger ready, and then he jumps up tiger stance.
Yes, and I think that you girls were doing it with him, and oh my God, he loves you girls. Like, he is so funny in the studio, and he just like, he spends a lot of time there, and of course both Reese and James do. But James will come in and like peek his head in and be like, hi girls. I'm like, oh my gosh, I am gonna be in so much trouble with you. Like, he just loves them so much. But you're so good to him, and to Reese too. They just, all those little ones look up to you guys. But no, I think I have a whole new respect for wrestling. And I think after we went and watched Claire at the home meet, and we watched you too. But just the passion that goes into it is like, because it is just you out there, and you're still working for a team, but it's not like, like basketball or football or softball, where you have like a group of people out there working together. It's like you out there having to make those decisions.
That's what I like about it. That's my favorite part.
Really?
It's just me. If I make a mistake, it's my fault.
It's on you.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's my favorite part about it.
Yeah.
Because you don't gotta like depend on, or like you can't like be like, oh, you did something wrong here. This is why. You can't blame people.
Exactly.
You can only blame yourself.
Exactly.
And that's really who.
Yeah. No, it's so cool, and I have a whole new respect for it. My dad he's watched wrestling and like the UFC stuff and all that, and I was just like, oh no, it's so gross. I can't watch that. Like, I can't watch those. But there's so much more to it than just like taking people down or the pin or whatever. So
Yeah.
Definitely.
it's cool. I've learned so much this year, and I think that is another huge thing that, like, if I can give you guys any advice, and I mean, I definitely wouldn't be the person to take it from, but just to keep learning and, like, don't ever stop learning, because there's so much to learn, and nobody knows it all, and nobody's perfect, and I just think that's huge. And I've learned so much this year. This has been a
Crazy year.
crazy
Crazy
year.
few years.
Crazy few years, but yeah,
Definitely.
it's pretty awesome.
All right. Well, I think we're about out of time here.
Okay. I mean, I could sit here and talk to you guys for hours all day long. Would you guys? It's Friday. Can we just like hang out the rest of the day?
Just skip the next
Yeah,
classes.
just skip your classes. Your teachers
Yeah.
won't care. I'll sign you out.
There you go. Perfect.
Well,
All right.
thank you so much, you guys.
Yeah,
It's
thank
been
you.
awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks for tuning in this week's podcast. Have a great day.